In this video, I'm going to be giving you the top 5 things that worked for me personally to start this journey. These are very easy and simple ways to start the process, to bring up this intuitive voice inside of you that will lead you to the main things that we all individually have to be doing, because we're all different people. So these are the 5 things that will get the ball rolling for you, if you will. Number 1 is probably something that you've heard of before. There's a lot of controversy to this as to why it's even there in the first place. We're not getting into that here, but fluoride. Remove fluoride from your water, as well as chlorine, these other chemicals, but fluoride is the biggest. So remove the fluoride. You're going to need to get a special water filter for this, okay? It's not just a casual Walmart Brita filter that's going to be doing this. You need to look into it, drinking it, bringing that into yourself, and also brushing your teeth. You need to move to a toothpaste brand that does not use fluoride, because you absorb an intense amount through your gums, like a lot. That there's a lot of scientific research on this. Go ahead and check it out. Like I said, we're not getting into the controversy of it, but number 1 is to remove fluoride from your life and add nascent, I think it's called nascent or nascent, whatever, nascent iodine. So this comes from natural salt reserves deep underground, and this helps to remove fluoride from us, remove chlorine, remove these chemicals that you are also removing from bringing in more, but it helps your body detox these heavy metals. And this has been the most profound thing for me, is number 1 here. Number 2 is a combination, and it is taking fermented skatefish oil, also called fermented ratfish oil. There's some debate on which one's the right one to take. Personally, I'm going to recommend fermented skatefish oil because that's the only one that I've taken and it works, and that's why it's on my top 5 list. I take it also with something called Activator X. Now, I'm not going to get into all the science about this stuff, because if I did, I would just be reiterating things that I read online, because I'm not a scientist or nutritionist and I have no idea about any of this. So if you're interested in how it works, just go ahead and look it up and read the articles firsthand, rather than me just trying to paraphrase and pretend like I know what I'm talking about. What I do know, in the sense of knowing what I'm talking about, is that this stuff makes me feel so good. Now, it took about 3 weeks to start working, but my dreams are getting so vivid from taking this. So vivid, and the kind of clarity that happens in your dreams, and the kind of conscious state that you bring to your dreams. And it's it's not just in your dreams, but this is the first thing that I personally noticed. And when you are going to sleep, you're in a different kind of state where you're able to interact with your higher self in a much more profound way. Now, usually people might not remember their dreams, or they might not make sense of it or think that it was profound at all. But what this skatefish oil does, and this Activator X, I take them together, it's all of a sudden dreams that I maybe would used to just wake up from and go, that was a weird dream, and go about my day and not care. It's what this supplementation does for me is it brings a much deeper awareness to things like dreams, or weird intuitive moments, or kind of maybe psychic thoughts that you might have, where normally you're not aware, you don't care. We're so focused on living in this egocentric, this is me, I am this body, this is what I'm doing. People want to distract themselves from things. It brings much more attention to things that you have not been paying attention to. Things that start to feel much deeper. I could feel connection in my dreams. I was making sense of them, and I knew it was my higher self communicating with me. And again, this creates a whole chain reaction of you listening to your intuition more, and so you become more intuitive. And once you are open to the communication of the universe, it starts to speak more. I feel really good taking it, to say the least. It feels really good. My brain has never had this kind of layer of consciousness to it before. It's totally game changing. So check it out. Like I said, look it up. Just maintain awareness and make sure you're buying the right stuff, because it is expensive, okay? So number 2 was a great way to lead into number 3. And number 3 is dream intention. Now, this one isn't as sexy as a concept because it's not something you can just add to your shopping cart and order and have it arrive at your door and you take it and don't have to do any work. But that being said, it is incredibly easy. But it's not a sexy idea in the sense that you might not think it's all that exciting, but I'm telling you right now, it's one of the biggest things that I did, and it's why it's my number 3 out of my top 5 things that helped me to decalcify my pineal gland. And that is dream intention. What do I mean when I'm saying that? What do you mean dream intention? Before you go to bed, intend that you are going to have a very profound dream where your higher self contacts you. Okay? Intend that in the morning when you wake up, you will remember it. Intend that after you remember it, you will feel it in a very deep and profound way, and it will change your life. I do that every single night before bed, and without fail, I wake up every single morning from a dream that has very deep meaning, and it pushes me further on my course. So why is this dream intention important for decalcifying your pineal gland? Well, yes, there are certain things that we need to take and stop taking to stop doing damage and to reverse the damage we have done. But the thing is while you may be decalcifying and doing these steps, this one is really important because the more you start to utilize your intuition and communicate with your higher self, the more that higher self will be there. The more it's think of it as watering your seed, okay? You're watering it and it's blossoming and sprouting. That will only happen if you're paying attention to it, if you're giving it your energy. So yes, we want to be decalcifying our pineal gland, but you also want to be paying attention to it and using your intention and manifestation powers to become one with it. Why in our dreams and not our waking life? Well, in waking life this is possible, but when you go to sleep at night, your brain waves are changing and you have access to a much higher dimension of what reality really is. When you wake up, you go through a lot of veils of forgetfulness, just like when we come here to the planet in the first place, and you don't remember all of it, but in those layers of dreams that you do remember, your higher self has a much bigger and vast capability of reaching in and touching you. And you have a much higher capability of remembering it. So the more you do this, the deeper and deeper and deeper these layers you can go through, the more and more and more you'll remember, and the more and more and more you'll start to feel it in your waking life too. That is why dream intention is number 3. Number 4 is another very simple thing, and this one is again going to be a supplement/vitamin thing that you can take so you can rest and ease your mind, that you don't have to intellectualize it too much. And that is chlorella and spirulina. Again, it takes a little bit of time, but these kind of absorb toxins in your body. It's also just a really great food source. It's got like the highest protein content per like gram or please don't quote me on this. I'm not a nutritionist, like I've kind of been saying disclaimers along here. Check it out. Chlorella and spirulina. There's chlorophyll in them, and it does awesome stuff with your brain. There's heavy science behind this one of how it can decalcify your pineal gland, and the science is not going to talk about your pineal gland being a spiritual third eye, but it is going to talk about it as part of your brain and health. So this is another really powerful and profound way that you can help affect that. So go ahead and look this one up on your own. I promise, I promise, I promise. I take it every single day. It is out of the 3 kind of supplements that I take, it's the one of the 3 that I have kept purchasing and saving, whereas 100 other things I completely stopped using and turned out to not work that great. So number 5 is to listen to high frequency music, hertz, whatever it's supposed to be called, but you probably know what I'm talking about. And if not, I'm going to right off the bat say to Spotify's easy, most people can access that. Look up, the artist is called Magnetic Minds, and they literally have a track called Pineal Gland Detoxification. You'll know it when you see it. It literally has pineal gland in it, and then it's got like detox or detoxification, something like that. The idea here is that think about the power that music has over your life. When you're listening to a certain song where they're singing about something or it's got a certain kind of vibe to it, that impacts you. you can feel that. That's why we listen to music in the first place, is to relate to it and to help us to feel a certain way, and the entertainment value of it. It affects us. We know that. Dancing, you want to dance to it. Music has power, okay? So, the next thing that I want to mention is that we are vibrating light. You don't have to believe me, but as you start to open your pineal gland and your third eye becomes more active, you'll understand more kind of what I'm saying. It's really hard to explain, but we are vibrating light, and there are different frequencies all around us. And essentially, if you grab onto one frequency, it's like a wave that you're riding. This is now the line of the reality that you are existing in. It's like kind of who you are in a sense. These frequencies are really profound and powerful. And I see now how these frequencies have been holding me back my entire life. And I also see now how, because you can just grab on and surf this wave, if you just grabbed a frequency that was a little bit higher than you, it would pull you up. And you could use it to your advantage. It doesn't have to be something pulling you down. That's where high frequency music comes into play. I was specifically listening to things that when you listen to it, I mean, it's not going to be necessarily like music. It's really not. It's like these weird high-pitched kind of sounds that are vibrating, and it kind of tunes you to this level of vibration. And it's a very difficult feeling to explain, but it feels very spiritual. I felt very conscious listening to this, and it's almost like I could go from, all right, I'm going to listen to this now, to after 20 minutes of listening, my eyes would be like this, and I'd be sitting just completely content, not thinking about anything, but completely zoned into this fine line of reality that has always been there, but like I wasn't listening to it. Again, it's very difficult to explain, but check this out for yourself. These are the top 5 things that, for me, helped on this decalcification process. Now, these are the first step. I made this list into very simple and easy things to start for a beginner, because these were the things that helped me as a beginner to start this process. The thing is if you are going somewhere, if there's somewhere that you're going, right, you take the first step, and it's kind of like just dipping your toes in the water, just kind of getting into it. And then you take another step, right? So you keep going, and your intuition through this process is going to grow. These 5 things are going to kind of light this fire under you. And the truth is that this one step is going to turn out to be a very huge leap. When you do these 5 things, when you incorporate them into your life, you will start to feel your real self pushing you in a direction, telling you which door to open next, telling you which things to gravitate towards on your spiritual journey of using your third eye and being an awakened, lucid person while we're here. So, these steps are just the beginning, and soon you will find exactly what it is that will work best for you. But start here. You can't go wrong. But also, before you start, know that this one step turns out to be quite a leap and quite a change. I'll tell you, everything is very different for me now. Very different. But I have no want to go back, personally. So, if you want to, these are the 5 things that I would do to start. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Bye.